The energy inside the It's Showtime studio was electric as the audience erupted into cheers, waving banners, and chanting a familiar name, Sofronio. Sofronio. The Filipino pride of The Voice USA Season 26, Sofronio Vasquez, had finally come home, and his grand return wasn't just for a celebration, it was for a mission. The former Tawaging Tanghalan, TNT, grand finalist turned international singing sensation was now back, not as a contestant, but as a TNT guest judge. Dressed in an impeccably tailored navy blue suit with a golden lapel pin shaped like a microphone, Sofronio stepped onto the stage with his signature charm and humility. He bowed in gratitude as Vice Ganda, Vong Navarro, and Ann Curtis hyped up the crowd even more. Nagbabalik ang ating world-class champion, Palakpakan natin si Sofronio Vasquez, Vice Ganda announced, spinning in excitement. Sofronio, ever the gentleman, flashed a humble smile. Salamat po. It feels so good to be home. Mahol na mahol ko kayo. From TNT finalist to The Voice USA champion. Before conquering The Voice USA, Sofronio had been a force to be reckoned with in the TNT competition. Though he didn't take the grand prize back then, his undeniable talent carried him across the globe. Fast forward to season 26 of The Voice USA, and he made history as the first Filipino to win the coveted title under the guidance of his coach, Michael Bublé. His powerful vocals and deeply emotional renditions of classic ballads made him a standout throughout the competition. Now back on It's Showtime, his journey had come full circle. He wasn't just visiting, he was here to mentor and judge a new generation of aspiring singers. A special performance for his Filipino fans. Before taking his seat on the judges' panel, Sofronio was given the honor of opening the show with a special performance. The first few piano notes of Bridge Over Troubled Water filled the air, and as soon as Sofronio's voice soared through the studio, chills ran down the spines of every listener. It wasn't just a performance, it was a homecoming. Tears welled up in Ann Curtis's eyes. Iba talaga kapag gumabalik ang isang champion sa kanyang pinagmulan, she whispered. As Sofronio hit the final note, the studio erupted into applause. The hosts, judges, and audience gave him a standing ovation. Even the TNT contenders, who stood backstage watching, had nothing but admiration. Judging the TNT contenders. Seated next to TNT judges Louis Ocampo and Caril, Sofronio exuded warmth and professionalism. Each time a contestant stepped onto the stage, he listened intently, occasionally closing his eyes as if absorbing every note. One performance particularly caught his attention, an emotional rendition of All By Myself by a young hopeful named Jessa. As she reached the climax of the song, Sofronio's eyes glistened, clearly moved. When it was his turn to speak, he took a deep breath. Jessa, you remind me of myself when I was starting out. Yum puso mo, ramdam na ramdam ko. When you sing, it's not just about the notes, it's about telling a story. And tonight, you told us a beautiful one. Keep going. Jessa burst into tears, overwhelmed by the praise from her idol. The audience roared in approval, and Vice Ganda, ever the instigator, leaned towards Sofronio. Adang mo, baka gusto mong maging coach sa The Voice Philippines next season. Vice teased, causing the crowd to erupt in laughter and cheers. Sofronio chuckled, but there was a glimmer in his eye. Malay teen Vice. Basta para sa OPM, para sa Pilipinas, laging bukas ang puso ko. Reuniting with old friends. The backstage area was filled with familiar faces, from fellow TNT alumni to the production staff who had supported Sofronio during his early days. He embraced each one warmly, sharing laughter and reminiscing about his TNT journey. One particularly heartfelt reunion was with his former mentor and TNT judge, Ray Valera. The veteran singer-songwriter pulled him into a tight hug. Alam mo, Sofronio, noon yun nakitang marinig, sabi ko na, may bituin tom betang too. And look at you now, Ray said proudly. Sofronio beamed. Sir Ray, maraming salamat po. Hindi ko to mararating kung wala ang TNT at lahating mga sumiporta sa akin. a message to aspiring Filipino singers. Before leaving the show, Sofronio was asked to share a message for all the dreamers watching at home. He took a moment to gather his thoughts before speaking from the heart. Para sa lahat ng nangangarap, wag kayong matakot sumubok. Hindi madali ang dawn papunta sa pangarap, pero kung may tiwala kayo sa sarili niyo at sa talentong binigay sa inyo ng Diyos, walang impossible. The audience cheered, and Vice Ganda, clearly touched, nodded in agreement. That's the spirit. Grabe, Sofronio. Ang leo na ang narrating mo, pero hindi mo nakalimutan kung saan ka nagsimula. Sofronio smiled. Dahil ang puso ko, nandito pa rin. With that, he waved one final time, blowing kisses to the crowd before exiting the stage. It wasn't just a guest appearance, it was a testament to how far passion and perseverance could take a dreamer. And as the lights dimmed and a new TNT hopeful took the mic, one thing was certain. Sofronio Vasquez had come home, and he had left a legacy that would inspire countless others to follow in his footsteps. Sofronio Vasquez's TNT return sparks new hope for aspiring singers. As the lights dimmed after Sofronio Vasquez's powerful homecoming on It's Showtime, the energy in the studio remained electrifying. His return had reignited the dreams of every aspiring TNT contestant, reminding them that the path to stardom wasn't just about talent, it was about perseverance, heart, and believing in one's journey. With the next batch of contestants stepping up for the day's showdown, Sofronio remained at the judges' table, fully invested in the performances. As each singer delivered their best, the tension in the room grew thick. The pressure was on, not just for the contestants, but for Sofronio, who had to make tough calls as a guest judge. A shocking elimination. One of the most anticipated performances of the afternoon came from Mark, a returning contender who had once made it to the semifinals but fell short of victory. He was back, more polished, more determined, and ready to prove he had what it took to win. Mark took the stage and performed Angels Brought Me Here, his voice soaring through the studio with raw emotion. The audience was mesmerized, and even Sofronio, who had seen and experienced countless breathtaking performances, was visibly moved. When the final note lingered in the air, the audience roared with applause. It seemed like Mark was on his way to victory. But in a shocking turn of events, the other judges felt his performance, though stellar, lacked a personal touch. Louis Ocampo leaned forward, rubbing his chin. Mark, walang duda na isa ka sa pinakamagaling sa round na ito. Pero may hinahanap akong konting originality. Parang masyadong faithful sa original version. The other judges nodded in agreement. It was now Sofronio's turn to weigh in. He sighed before speaking, knowing the weight of his words. Mark sobrang ramdam ko yung pinagarapan mong performance. Pero tama sa Sir Louis, kailangan mo nang ibigay yung sarili mong tatak. I've been in your position before, and sometimes playing it safe isn't enough. Pero wag kang susuko. Ito lang ang simula. Despite the supportive words, Mark's name was not called as one of the advancing contestants. Gasps filled the studio. The upset was clear, and Mark struggled to hold back his emotions. But instead of frustration, he took a deep breath and walked towards Sofronio, giving him a firm handshake. "Thank you, Po," Mark said, his voice shaking. "Dahil sa mga sinabi niyo, mas alam ko ng gayon kung anong kailangan kong gawin." Sofronio nodded, pride gleaming in his eyes. "Ikaw lang ang makakatakda ng future mo. Balik ka, mas malakas." The moment was a reminder that rejections weren't the end, they were stepping stones. And if anyone knew that well, it was Sofronio himself. Snoop Dogg surprises Sofronio with a message. Just when everyone thought the day couldn't get any more exciting, It's Showtime hosts teased a very special surprise for Sofronio. Vice Ganda grinned mischievously as a large screen lit up behind them. "Alam mo Sofronio, hindi lang Pilipinas ang proud sayo. May isang tao na gusto kang besyan." A video played, and to everyone's shock, the face of the Voice USA coach Snoop Dogg appeared on screen. "Yo, yo, yo, what's up my man Sofronio? Snoop's signature deep voice echoed through the studio. The crowd erupted into excited shrieks. Snoop, sporting his classic shades and a blinged-out chain, continued, "I just wanted to say, man, I see you out there doing big things in the Philippines. You went from the voice champ to repping your people, and that's what it's all about. Keep shining, dog. You got the whole world watching, and I know you just getting started. Peace and love, fam." The entire studio went wild. Sofronio was momentarily speechless, his hand over his mouth. Finally, he let out a deep laugh, shaking his head in disbelief. "Grabe, I never thought I'd see this today. Snoop Dogg, man, thank you, bro." Vice, always the entertainer, farmed herself dramatically. "Sofronio, kahit si Snoop na starstruck sayo pa autograph ka na." The moment was surreal. It was a powerful reminder of how far Sofronio had come, from singing on local stages in the Philippines to being recognized globally. A possible The Voice Philippines coaching stint. After the excitement settled, one final question lingered in the air. Would Sofronio consider becoming a coach for The Voice Philippines in the future? Ann Curtis, always one to dig deeper, leaned in with curiosity. "Sofronio, since you've been part of The Voice USA, wouldn't it be amazing if you came back and coached here in the Philippines?" The audience cheered in agreement, chanting, "Coach Sofronio, Coach Sofronio." Sofronio chuckled, rubbing his chin. "Alam niyo, hindi malabo yan. I'd love to help the next generation of Filipino singers find their own voices. So let's see what the future holds." The possibility sent waves of excitement through the audience. Could Sofronio be the next superstar mentor guiding future talents in his home country? Only time would tell. As the show wrapped up, one thing was certain: Sofronio Vasquez's journey was far from over. From his humble beginnings in Tawagang Tanghalan to becoming a voice champion, and now inspiring a new wave of Filipino singers, his story was one of resilience, passion, and a love for music that transcended borders. And with the doors of opportunity wide open, the world was ready to hear even more from the boy who dared to dream big.